There are moments in life when the world seems to move faster than your heart can keep up. A message left unread, a tone misunderstood, a stranger's glance that lingers too long, and suddenly, something inside you shifts. We spend our days reacting to the world like waves against a shore, restless, unending, trying to prove that we can withstand whatever comes our way. But in that constant motion, something is lost. Peace, clarity, the ability to simply be. Imagine this. Someone insults you, betrays you, ignores you. Instantly, your body tightens, your thoughts race, your emotions take control. You want to fight, to defend, to make them see. But what if the true power lies not in reaction, but in stillness? Dalai Lama once said, "You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you respond." It sounds simple, yet it might be the hardest practice of all. Because the moment you stop trying to control the outside world, you meet the only world that truly matters, the one within you. And in that space between action and reaction, a miracle happens. You begin to see who you really are. So, what would happen if you stopped reacting and started responding with awareness? In today's world, we live surrounded by noise, notifications, opinions, endless breaking news. Everyone wants to be heard, but few want to listen. We scroll, we judge, we react. Instantly, emotionally, automatically. It's strange, isn't it? For all our progress, for all our education and technology, we remain emotional prisoners of every moment's storm. Someone disagrees with us online, we lash out. Someone doesn't text back, we spiral. A stranger's success makes us feel smaller, so we quietly resent. We react, not because the world demands it, but because we've forgotten that not reacting is even an option. The modern paradox is this. We believe reacting makes us strong. We think it proves we care, that we're alive, that we're engaged. But in truth, our reactivity drains us. It turns our peace into a battlefield. Every day, every hour, every thought. We live in a culture that glorifies reaction. Be quick, be loud, take a stand. But rarely, be still. Silence has become suspect. Calmness is mistaken for indifference. Patience is labeled weakness. And so we armor ourselves with opinions and outrage, hoping to control the uncontrollable, the hearts and minds of others. But the truth is harsh. The more we try to control others, the less control we have over ourselves. You can't stop people from lying, from leaving, from misunderstanding you. But you can stop letting those moments dictate your inner weather. Because the real battlefield isn't out there. It's inside. Imagine life as a sea. You can't calm the waves, but you can learn to surf. You can't command the wind, but you can adjust your sail. And maybe peace isn't about mastering the storm, but about learning how to dance within it. Our reactions are habits built from years of fear and defense. The world hurts us, and we build walls. Someone offends us, and we build armor. But with every wall we build, we lose a bit of the sky. Here's the paradox. The less we try to control others, the freer we become. The less we react, the more we feel. The quieter we become, the clearer we see. In a universe where everything changes, Maybe true strength is not found in resistance, but in acceptance. Not the passive kind that gives up, but the wise kind that knows this too will pass. When you no longer fight every ripple, life begins to move differently. The anger softens, the noise fades. And in that sacred pause between stimulus and response, something new begins. A moment of choice, a moment of freedom, a moment that could change everything. Because peace isn't given to us by the world. It's created within us, one mindful breath at a time. So, if you can't control what happens next, what would it mean to control how you meet it? There is a saying, ancient, quiet, and true. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom and our power to choose. Most people live their entire lives without ever entering that space. They react as they breathe, automatically, habitually, without awareness. A word is spoken, and they burn. A look is given, and they shrink. A disappointment arises, and they collapse into blame. We call it being human, but it's really being unconscious. You see, the greatest illusion we live under is control. The belief that if we can just make others behave the way we want, life will finally feel right. But the world will never fit neatly into our expectations. The universe is not designed for our comfort. It is designed for our growth. And growth demands friction. It demands contrast. It demands the uncomfortable mirror of other people's behavior to show us who we are. The Dalai Lama's words, "You cannot control what others do, but you can control how you respond," are not just advice. They are a spiritual law. When someone insults you, they reveal their mind, not your worth. When someone betrays you, they uncover your capacity to forgive, or not. When someone ignores you, they test the strength of your self-acceptance. In every reaction, life is asking, who are you right now? The storm, or the sky behind it? This is the essence of inner mastery, not to suppress emotion, but to meet it with awareness. To feel the heat of anger rising and say, "Ah, there you are." To sense the sting of jealousy and whisper, "I see you." To witness fear without letting it drive the steering wheel. Because awareness doesn't erase pain, it transforms it. It turns pain into wisdom, reaction into response, chaos into clarity. Think about it. When you react instantly, you give away your power. Your mind becomes a puppet, your peace a hostage. But when you pause, even for one breath, something sacred happens. You reclaim authorship of your life. The pause is not weakness. It's mastery. It's the gap where consciousness enters. It's where the conditioned self dissolves and the aware self awakens. Imagine a mirror. When dust covers it, it reflects nothing clearly. But when you gently wipe it clean, you begin to see things as they are. That's what awareness does to the mind. It doesn't change the world. It changes your relationship to it. And from that awareness flows compassion. Because when you realize that others act from their pain, from their conditioning, from their blindness, how can you hate them? How can you fight shadows when you've seen the light? Stillness becomes your shield, understanding becomes your sword, and forgiveness, not as surrender, but as strength, becomes your path. But make no mistake, this practice is not easy. The ego loves control. It wants to be right, to win, to dominate. It feeds on reaction like fire feeds on oxygen. So when you choose peace, your ego will resist. It will whisper, "They disrespected you. Don't let them get away with it." It will demand justice, attention, revenge. Yet every time you refuse to feed that fire, you weaken the chains that bind you. You start to see their anger is not yours. Their chaos is not yours. Their story is not yours. You realize you don't need to control what you didn't cause. You don't need to respond to every wound. You don't need to be dragged into every argument that invites you in. That's not apathy. That's maturity. It's what peace looks like when it's grown up. The power of non-reaction is not passive. It's active stillness. It's a strength that doesn't shout, but transforms. It's the quiet revolution of consciousness. Because every time you choose calm over chaos, awareness over impulse, love over ego, you shift something invisible in the world. You break an ancient cycle of pain. You become the still point in a turning universe. It's not about denying your feelings. It's about realizing that you are more than them. The waves will come, but you are the ocean. And once you understand that, the world can no longer control you. You stop living as a victim of others' moods. You stop needing to fix what isn't yours. You begin to see that every encounter, even the painful ones, is a lesson in disguise. That difficult person, your mirror. That betrayal, your teacher. That silence, your space to hear yourself again. Because what others do reveals them. How you respond reveals you. And in that realization lies ultimate freedom. The moment you no longer need to react, you become untouchable. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, pause, breathe, feel the heat rise and let it pass like weather. Smile, not out of arrogance, but understanding. Because you've remembered the truth. You can't control the storm, but you can always choose to be the sky. And in that choice, you become free. There once was a monk who lived at the edge of a mountain village. He was known not for his wisdom, but for his silence. Every morning, he swept the temple courtyard with calm, unhurried movements, the sound of the broom whispering through fallen leaves like a quiet prayer. One day, a man from the village stormed up the path toward the temple. His face was red with anger, his fists trembling. He shouted before he even reached the gate. "You think you're so wise, sitting up here in peace while we suffer below? What do you know about life?" The monk continued sweeping, the rhythm unbroken. The man's voice grew louder. "You're a fraud, a coward who hides from the world's pain." The monk finally looked up, his eyes calm, his voice gentle. "Is that so?" The man, frustrated by the monk's composure, spat at his feet. Then he turned and left, his footsteps echoing down the mountain path. The monk simply bowed his head and continued sweeping. Later, another young disciple who had witnessed the whole scene came forward, his face flushed with anger. "Master," he said, "why did you not speak back to him? Why did you let him insult you like that?" The old monk smiled softly. "If someone offers you a gift," he asked, "and you do not take it, to whom does the gift belong?" The disciple frowned. "To the one who offered it." The monk nodded. "Then his anger remains his own." The disciple was silent, the meaning slowly sinking in. The master continued, "We cannot control what another offers us, insult, praise, or blame. But we can choose what we accept. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the mountains, the monk lit a single lantern. The soft golden light flickered against the temple walls. He said to his disciple, "Each reaction we give away is a lantern we extinguish. Soon we walk in darkness, wondering why we cannot see." The disciple watched the light dance, understanding at last. Days later, the same man returned to the temple, this time quietly, eyes downcast. He had been haunted by the monk's stillness. In his village, everyone reacted, everyone argued, everyone burned. But this man, this silent monk, had not fought back. He knelt before the monk and whispered, "Master, how did you remain so calm? I tried to forget that day, but your silence keeps echoing in my mind." The monk paused. The wind moved gently through the trees. "Because," he said, "when I heard your words, I heard your pain, and I saw my choice, to carry it or to let it pass." The man looked up, tears in his eyes. "All my life I've reacted to everything, anger, fear, insult. I thought it made me strong." The monk smiled again. "Then today perhaps you begin to see what strength truly is." The man bowed deeply. "And what is that?" "Strength," said the monk, "is not how loud your storm is. It's how quietly you return to stillness." The next morning, the man left the temple. But this time, his steps were slow, steady, as if he carried something invisible, yet luminous. Down in the village, people noticed he no longer shouted as he used to. When others gossiped, he smiled. When insulted, he paused, and when asked why, he only said, "I learned that not every fire deserves my breath." In time, his calmness spread. People began to mirror it, not because he told them to, but because peace has a sound that calls to the soul more powerfully than any argument ever could. And on quiet nights, when the mountain breeze carried the scent of pine and the distant echo of the temple bell, the villagers swore they could hear it, the whisper of a broom through leaves, and the sound of a heart that no longer needed to react. Because sometimes the greatest teacher is not the one who speaks, but the one who remains still. So ask yourself, when life offers you anger, will you accept it, or will you let it drift away, untouched, like dust beneath your broom? There comes a moment in every life when the noise becomes unbearable. When every argument, every expectation, every wound begins to blur into one long ache, and you realize it was never the world that exhausted you. It was your constant need to fight it. We react because we're afraid. Afraid of being misunderstood. Afraid of losing control. Afraid of appearing weak. But here's the quiet truth. Reacting doesn't protect you. It only keeps you chained to what hurt you. Think of all the times you replayed a conversation in your mind. All the imaginary arguments you won. The justifications you rehearsed. Hours, days, gone. For what? To control a story that had already ended. The more we try to rewrite the past, the more we miss the peace of the present. You see, peace is not the absence of conflict. It's the presence of consciousness. It's the moment you realize you don't have to attend every battle you're invited to. Someone criticizes you? That's their mirror, not yours. Someone leaves. It reveals their journey, not your worth. Someone lies? It shows their fear, not your failure. And still your ego will whisper, "But they shouldn't have." And your heart will whisper back, "Maybe, but they did." This is the turning point, where suffering ends and freedom begins. Because when you stop resisting reality, reality stops hurting. It simply becomes what is. In that stillness, you discover a deeper kind of power, one that doesn't depend on circumstances. The power to choose presence over pride, understanding over vengeance, peace over control. And when you choose that, something extraordinary happens. You stop needing to change others. You stop begging for closure. You stop proving your worth through reaction. You begin to live with the quiet confidence of someone who no longer needs to win every moment, because they've already won themselves. It's not weakness. It's evolution. It's remembering that your peace is too precious to spend on battles that lead nowhere. The Dalai Lama's words echo again. You cannot control what others do, but you can control how you respond. At first, it sounds like surrender, but it's not. It's the ultimate act of rebellion, to remain kind in a cruel world, to remain calm in chaos, to remain light when others choose darkness. And maybe that's what true power looks like. Not dominance, but presence. Not shouting, but understanding. Not winning, but awakening. Because when you no longer react, the world loses its grip on you. And what remains is something pure, unshakable, luminous, whole. So when the next storm comes, and it will, remember, you don't have to control it. You don't have to fix it. You don't even have to run from it. Just breathe, watch, and trust that the sky was never broken by the passing clouds, because peace was never lost. It was only waiting, behind your reactions, beneath your fear, inside your silence. And in that silence, something beautiful begins to grow. So much of life is spent trying to control what was never ours. We shape, persuade, defend, all to protect a fragile image of how things should be. But peace is born the moment we stop asking the world to be different and begin listening to the quiet truth within us. You don't have to fix every misunderstanding. You don't have to chase every approval. You don't have to prove that you are right. All you must do is choose your response. Because in every moment, between the world's noise and your next word, lies the space where freedom begins. And inside that space is your truest self. Calm, vast, untouchable. So the next time someone wounds you, pause. The next time life disappoints you, breathe. And instead of reacting, respond. Not from fear, but from awareness. That simple shift, repeated again and again, can change the direction of your life. Because the world doesn't need more control. It needs more consciousness. Imagine if, instead of reacting in anger, we paused in understanding. Instead of shouting, we listened. Instead of fighting to be right, we remembered to be kind. That is where transformation begins, not in changing others, but in awakening ourselves. So let this be your quiet rebellion, to stay soft in a hard world, to stay aware in a reactive one, to live as proof that peace is not weakness, it's mastery. And when all else fails, remember this: you cannot control the waves, but you can learn to surf. Or in the Dalai Lama's timeless words, You cannot control what others do, but you can control how you respond.